To be perfectly honest, I didn't hear a lot of good things about the Kulstar, but I did notice it's a rocket launcher, which got me interested. I mean, it can't be all bad, can it? Let's find out. Welcome back guys, as always my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into this Mastery Rank 5 secondary weapon. As per the usual, I'm going to be having a cheap build, something affordable that anybody can build, but of course we also have the quote-unquote endgame setup with a Riven. That said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides take a new player friendly approach. I like to take my time and explain a lot of the aspects that veteran players should already be accustomed to, so in case you're a vet, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Kulstar. Let's begin by checking out the weapon's base functionality, and for that we're just going to be firing off a couple of free shots. The Kulstar is a secondary mini rocket launcher, and the rockets will be detonating upon contact with an enemy or with a surface. The explosion radius, from what I can tell, is about 3 to 5 meters, something like that. But there's also a twist to these rockets. Each and every rocket upon impact, upon detonation, will be spawning 3 little bomblets. Now the bomblets don't really have a targeting mechanism, so the damage they deal is not reliable, but in the case of the Kulstar, if you want to get the most amount of damage you can with a single shot, I would aim for the feet. So there's that. Now if you want to detonate your rocket just a little bit early, you can do so using the secondary fire button. So for example, you can wait until the rocket is over somebody's head, then detonate it. But let's talk about sources of damage from the Kulstar. First off, you got the rocket physically hitting the target, and that's impact damage. Then you have the explosion, which is blast damage, and then you have the little bomblets as well. Sometimes you might have ammo issues with the weapon. As you can see, I just took a couple of shots and I'm almost out of ammo. You can use carrier with ammo case, you can use ammo pads, which is usually my desired choice, or you can just pick up ammo off the ground, because this is pistol ammo, which is among the most common. And that's pretty much it for the base functionality of the Kulstar. Next we're going to be jumping into stats to see precisely what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is going to be 60 out of 60, and if yours has only 30 out of 30, then jump into actions and install the Auto King Catalyst. Now this one can be obtained from Nightwave. You can pay 20 plat to have one installed. It does appear on alerts and invasions sometimes after dev streams, and you can also get a blueprint from the daily sortie. Now my weapon has been formatted a total of 6 times, but for the weapon build I'm recommending you guys 4 forma will do it. Simply add 4 V symbols or Madurai. The weapon does come with 1 default polarity, but unfortunately it's the Vazarin polarity. Accuracy of 26.7, more than enough unless you factor in Magnum Force, so let me show you what Magnum Force does together with Battle Diffusion and Lethal Torrent, so we have some multi-shot up in there as well. It's gonna be forming a perfect triangle, I kid you not, take a look at that. And if you get a Riven with some additional multi-shot and you fire 4 projectiles, then it's gonna be making a perfect square. Even when you aim for the feet, something like this, the weapon isn't entirely reliable with Magnum Force, and you have a good chance of blowing yourself up. So for the most part, I wouldn't be recommending Magnum Force. Just stay away from it, there are plenty of other mods that you can use. Speaking of other mods, critical chance base of 17%, which is what I like to call barely worth using. Critical multiplier is high, however, 2.3x. So you can use something like a Kavat to get your crit on, or you can use something like Arcane Avenger, again bonus additive after. Harrow is another option, but Harrow only gives you 200% if you're going for headshots, and for body shots only 50%. And again with the Kulstar we're aiming for the feet. Fire rate of 2 with a magazine of 3, noise alarming, reload of 2 seconds. Not exactly ideal, this is not the most comfortable of weapons to use, but here is the one saving grace. Riven Disposition of 4 out of 5, which means that the Rivens will have sky high stats. Status chance of 19%, and we got impact and blast as default damage on the weapon. Now the impact refers to a projectile physically hitting a target, and the blast is the explosion. So let's have a look at the standard setup first. And we got damage with Hornet Strike, multi-shot with Battle Diffusion, Lethal Torrent, critical chance, critical damage with Pistol Gambit and Target Cracker, plus the elemental combo of Corrosive between Pistol Pestilence and Jolt, the 60/60 mods. Now the elemental combo should be adapted depending on your own circumstances. For example, if I was going down to Fortuna to fight the Corpus, I would build straight up Toxin or Gas. Against the Infested, usually Heat gets the job done. But let's talk about multi-shot. Again, multi-shot will give you multiple rockets, which is fantastic, but unfortunately it will not give you multiple bomblets. And the last mod slot is what I like to call an option slot. Plug into this one whatever you feel comfortable with. Here's a good option. Since the Plaguestar event is going on, you can go for Fulmination. Improves the blast radius of secondary weapon launcher weapons plus 24%. Is it gonna make a huge impact? No, but then again, no one mod will make a huge impact at this point in the build. Again, go for whatever you feel comfortable. In my case, I'm just gonna be piling on more corrosive with convulsion, 90% electricity. And again, if you don't have jolt, you just replace that one with something like pathogen rounds. Now let's see what the build can do. We got a whole bunch of damage on the weapon, and we also got to keep in mind the IPS rules in Warframe. Impact, puncture, and slash have a 4 times greater chance at proccing over elemental types, which is why that 90 mod is all the more crucial in my setup. And I'm just gonna go for flat out feet shots. Feet shots, god, there's no such thing. Well, I'm gonna be aiming for the feet, there you go. And the weapon can deal a whole lot of damage, and it can apply crowd control quite nicely thanks to the blast damage. Now blast is something that most players don't want to see on their weapons. I'm one such player. Because what blast does is knocks down your targets, and that knockdown can be very useful if you're 2 hours into a survival and the target no longer fires at you, then it's fantastic. But when you're doing your normal, average everyday missions, then blast is something that you don't really want on your weapon, so bear that one in mind. As for the performance of the weapon, you can judge for yourself. Considering how the weapon functions, I think this is pretty decent, but it's time to bring out a Riven mod so we can actually give it some real power. A stat priority on this one, to be honest, I would still get it to critical chance and critical damage, simply because if this weapon will crit, then it will hurt like all hell. If it doesn't crit, then it doesn't really do all that much. So my Riven is not exactly ideal. Take a look at this one. We got damage, multi-shot, electricity, and minus impact. Now that minus impact is absolutely delicious because it takes off the possibility of impact proccing. So all that's left is a whole bunch of corrosive together with blast. Not much I can do about the blast, so there you go, beggars can't be choosy. And of course we also got Prime Pistol Gambit and Prime Target Cracker as well. And you will see now that the Kulstar has a different face. It's going to be able to completely annihilate these targets in just a couple of shots. Take a look at all that damage. Bloody beautiful, isn't it? And remember what I said about the perfect square? Take a look. That is a perfect square, honestly. Oh, and when you fire 5, it's a hexagon. It's actually kind of cool. And that's pretty much it for performance with a Riven mod. Kulstar Rivens right now are considered trash. People disenchant them, people fuse them with other Riven mods just to get something else, or they just flat out sell them for 10 plat. Honestly, I think they're worth using. Again, they're super cheap and you can get something nice for the Kulstar. Now let's finally bump it up with Warframe Buffs, and for that we're going to be using the ever so lovely Lady Mirage Prime. As for Warframe Buffs, you can use something like Pistol Lamp. 27% extra damage is definitely something considering the high base damage on the Kulstar, and this is an aura, so everybody in your party will be receiving this benefit, and it is stackable times 4. You can also use Corrosive Projection, which against Grenier is guaranteed to give you better results, but the advantage to something like Pistol Lamp over Corrosive Projection is that an Amp Aura will grant its benefit regardless of the target. But don't think they make a huge impact. Honestly, if you feel like going for something like your Energy Siphon or your Growing Power, 100% go for those. As for arcanes, we're going to be double stacking Arcane Avenger R3. On damage, the 14% chance for 30% critical chance bonus boost additive after for 8 seconds. These two do double stack, guys. Link in the cards right now for a full demonstration on Arcane double stacking. You can farm this one from the third Eidolon down on Cetus. That's gonna give me 60% on top of my 37%, almost a guaranteed crit out of the Kulstar. Now, Mirage's free ability for a massive damage increase as well as her lovely clones. And now the weapon is fully capable of my favorite magic trick of now you see them, now you don't. The Kulstar is not a weapon for the Tenno that wants the most effective, the most efficient and most powerful weapon in the game. This is a weapon for the Tenno that wants to have a lot of fun with a freaking arm cannon. So I do love the weapon and I do highly recommend it. Just as long as you understand there are some drawbacks. You might blow yourself up from time to time, but isn't that part of the fun as well? As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback for me, or if you would like to suggest a particular weapon review, let me know in the comment section down below. And while I can't exactly guarantee you that it'll be done by next time or even within a week, I can promise you that I will be reading each and every comment. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.